21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Just because someone says no does not mean you going to the next person is not an option. If you go to the next person, that person may say no, but you have to keep on trying, just like a job. You may apply to 50 jobs, you may only get one. You may go to 50 people because of your disability for help, you may only get one. And that's hard to accept because people with disabilities, they don't understand the challenges we face. Okay, mine is mental. Okay, and it's hard to understand when someone tells you something over and over and over again that there's a process for something to happen before it happens. If you don't do it correctly, it's not going to be easy. But once you have that process, just like life, you get up, you do your everyday stuff, and that's what you deal with. It becomes easy once you get into that routine. So if you think of a child learning about the getting up, going to the bathroom, getting ready for school, going to school, coming home, once you get in that routine, disabled or not, that is a routine that you'll get used to, and it becomes easier and easier. But disabled people, oh, I can't do this. I'm going to get rejected no matter what. Does not mean that you're going to get rejected your whole life. It just means that person, that organization, that company is going to reject you because you can't go to their standards. Their standards are you got to do it this way, you're disabled. And again, there are laws that are in place to not discriminate against those with disabilities. On the top part, it shows, they're not going to do that. But behind the scenes, they will find a way to say you can't do this. Okay. And that's got to do with the employment part of it. You got people on SSI that are afraid to go to work. And if they go to work and lose their job because of their disability, they lose their SSI and their job and they're homeless. Whereas my objective was to say, hey, listen, I want to become a realtor, which means it's not an hourly wage job. You go out there and you get paid when you sell. And it's not it's commission based. With me, like any other person with disability, if you want to go above and beyond the 9 to 5 job, you got to have somebody help you devise that plan so that you can successfully make it into independence from the government, which more or less takes care of you to do nothing. And it's not healthy just to get up and watch TV and do this and do that. And they will hold you to that standard. If you're getting a job, why are we paying you money? Which is hard to understand because people want to go out there and become successful, but can't because they have nobody to back them up. No mom, no dad, brother or sister. Say, listen, I got a job, didn't work out. I lost my SSI. It may take me 5 months to get back on SSI, but I have somebody to back me up. For me, just like millions of other disabled people, can't do that because nobody is there to support them. Okay, we're adults, we're growing up, we are 40, 50, 60 years old, but we're still disabled. So we have to devise a plan behind the scenes without breaking laws to, if I were to go into speaking, my career was real estate, was code violation properties, was devising a plan to list and sell properties that had code violations. Okay. And people were interested in this plan to come to my website, which was codeviolationproperties.com, and they pay a fee for my website. And I was looking to get a $1.4 million loan on a business, jumping over that 9 to 5 and being disabled. So devising that plan wasn't easy, but I had the support of other people. Now my objective is to speak. If I can speak in front of thousands of people about disabilities, about challenges, about the rejection just because you're disabled, um, doesn't mean you can't do it. If you're into wanting to do a particular thing, whether it's code violations, whether if it's something on a commission based, you have to go to the right people, okay? And if you go through 50 people and one of them sees you as an opportunity, they'll bring you on and help guide you in those. And that's what I was doing. In 2003, I found somebody. I told somebody I want to get into real estate. They introduced me to an attorney broker. He was a licensed real estate broker and an attorney. Okay. And with that situation, I was able to find out how can I do this successfully without losing my SSI. And with that said, I if I get paid $3,000 on $100,000 house, okay, because it was cheaper then, you would give me $1,000 a month, allow me to receive that money, but on a gradual basis. Okay. When it comes to real estate, you get paid on commission. If you're selling one house every 4 months, that's not making money. That is, if you're selling 5 homes a month because you have a reputation of selling property, then you're more or less on your own because you know what you're doing. But when you begin doing that and you're on SSI and you gotta follow these rules to get to where you want to get, it's scary because you don't have an attorney or someone to help guide you in that direction without losing your SSI, without losing the government. And there's got to be a change in legislation on this basis because people want to go out there and become successful. Again, this is above and beyond 9 to 5 because many people, I have epilepsy. I get dizzy. So if I'm working, let's say at Walmart, and I get dizzy, there's a liability there. You're getting dizzy on our property, and then there can be a liability of a lawsuit. So they can't deal with that. So with me, if I have a seizure while I'm doing real estate, I'm on my own because it's my issue. And I've had seizures we went to a restaurant, okay, and I had a seizure there. Okay, it wasn't a grand mal seizure. My seizures last about a minute, dizzy spell, get not sure where I am for a second, and then I'm back to normal. But I'm on my own trying to develop a plan above. And again, if you want to become independent, commission based, you got to have somebody pay you on a gradual basis because you don't have the reputation and the foundation to make it work correctly because you're just doing it on the basis of help, not on the basis of independence. And that's where people want to become independent and not rely on. I rely on SSI, okay, but I got to go by their standards. Okay. And so if I get paid commission or I'm working and getting paid $2,000 a month, right away I gotta tell them. If I'm not telling the government that I receive SSI or that I am working and they find out, I have committed fraud because I'm making money behind their back. I'm paying taxes, but they're gonna say, we want our money back. They're not mom and dad, they're not relatives, they're the government. Okay. And so there goes to a situation of changing legislation to help those become successful. One-fourth of the United States population has a disability. With 380 million people, over one-fourth of them have a disability. And going out there and becoming self-sufficient, independent, being able to take care of yourself is a challenge because you are sitting on the government standards. They're taking care of you. It's a more or less a welfare program, welfare. And you're on welfare or you're on SSDI or you're on survivor's benefits. Still, if you work, why are they paying you? So that's a very big challenge to overcome because many people can't go out there and do that without the support of somebody or something. And commission based is the best way to go about doing that because you're getting paid under a gradual basis. If the government says, why are you getting $3,000 this month? Well, we could say, hey, listen, my boss or the person that's paying me gave me $1,000 this month and $1,000 next month. Okay. So I was under the foundation of making money. I wasn't going above and beyond a certain amount. Okay. And there's other things involved in that you have to follow. It's kind of hard to describe in a conversation just how to do it, but you have to do it correctly or don't do it at all and live on a system and know that you have a home to live in, and that's it because you're afraid to go up there and go above and beyond. So my objective is to speak about the issue and make it not as difficult, knowing that if the disabled get together and want to become independent, they gotta all get together as a team, go to legislation to make this easier so that we won't lose the SSI, the government benefits, because they're going to decrease them. There's not going to be enough money years down the road. And those on SSI who are 60, 70, 80 years old won't have enough money to survive. So with that said, how are they going to be able to do that if we don't change the laws and the plans to make it easier for the disabled? For now, remember, we know that not all disabled people are competent. You got some disabled people that are in hospitals. You got some that can't even, they need help to go to the bathroom. We're talking about the ones that are capable of doing something, the ones that want to do something successfully and become independent and do what they want when they want and and understand the world. Once you leave your front door, you're looking at the world and you are developing your foundation of people, of environments, of going to work and coming home with something that you remember that day that was good or bad. But when you're sitting at home on SSI, you're sitting at home watching TV, eating, taking a nap. Okay. I mean, that's all you can afford. Okay. You got to have enough money to eat. And if you don't have enough money to eat, then you're stuck. So you have to be able to sit around doing nothing just to keep yourself afloat. So with laws, we can do that and create a foundation so that the disabled can become uh, independent and successful. Now, one more thing I want to mention here. Co-violation properties, commission-based. Public speaking, commission-based. Being a comedian, I'm pretty sure there are people out there on SSI that are as funny as can be. They're funny, okay? And they can go out there and be a comedian and laugh like crazy. But they gotta follow the rules of the government saying, hey, listen, my fee today was $20,000 for my comedy, stand-up comedy for an hour, but they paid me on a gradual basis because I don't have the foundation of doing this every day or every week or once a month to become independent. Okay. Um, you got comedians probably in wheelchairs. They're funny, but they're in a wheelchair. How are they going to get there? But that's commission based, public speaking, commission based, real estate, commission based. So commission based is what we can use to have the people that pay us under the laws of those on SSI. Okay. And I can do 1,000 videos, but I can't get paid because I don't have a foundation of somebody above me. If I do a comedy show or a public speaking show right now, and they write me a check at their expense for $10,000, SSI or the government can say, "Hey, listen, we're cutting off your SSI because you just made $10,000." But it doesn't mean I'm going to be able to get another show to speak or be a comedian because I don't have a foundation of the person to go to for comedy on this level or on that level or speaking on this level about something. So we all have a story in regards to public speaking. We all have a story about something. Okay, whatever we all have a story about something. Mine is disability, where somebody else is more or less about um, other comedy, other speaking about things that are about them. Okay, so if we can speak about that to the government, say, listen, if they're trying, give them an opportunity so they can get off the SSI. There are a list of about 1,000 properties with code violations in the city of Sacramento. Okay, you go to the city of Sacramento, they'll give you that list. It's just an address. It could be a residential address. It could be a commercial, which is okay. Residential is 1 to 4 units. So if you have a fourplex, that's residential. If you have five or more, that's commercial. So there may be a boarded, vacant building, been sitting there for years. Okay. And who wants to buy that? That's where the investors come in and they say, hey, listen, I want to buy this because I have it, while I'm looking for properties to fix up and resell. Gas stations, okay? Who want to buy a gas station? So all these issues with properties that are bordered vacant, some are livable, okay? But there's a code violation on the property and you have to fix that. Otherwise, they're going to fine you for not having that up to code, okay? So, with a list of 1,000 properties with code violations, you have to go to each property, knock on their door, say, listen, I understand you have a code violation property. Would you like to get it fixed? Would you like to sell your property? If it's a boarded vacant building, okay, then you have to go find out online that address, who the owner is, where they live, because again, they may be passed away 10 years ago and the property's been boarded and vacant. So somebody has to go out there and find out how they can get that property because it's no mortgage and it has not there has not been taxes paid for 5 years. So if there's no mortgage and 5 years of taxes, the new owner who wants to buy it, all they gotta do is pay off those taxes. Then they gotta come in and fix it up to resell because that one property is decreasing the value of the neighbor properties. They got nice homes over there, but there's one property because of a fire or whatnot, or the owner passed away, is decreasing the value. So the investors come in place, they look at it and say, listen, I have a crew that can fix up and resell this property. It might cost me $50,000, and I can sell it for $350,000 because I bought it for $25,000 of back taxes, and it needs a lot of work. So most people want to buy a house, live in, or buy a house, rent out. The investors who want to buy a house, fix up to code, and then resell it. They're the ones that are helping to make the city of Sacramento or every area in the country up to code. Because if you think about it, there's over probably 1 million properties, if not more, in the United States that have code violations. They've been boarded vacant for years. The gas station fenced off, fenced off. So who wants to buy that? Then you have to get somebody big on gas stations, but they have to be approached or somehow look for a gas station and they don't know where to find it. Who wants to go out there and do the research on a gas station when they have no idea where to begin? So those that create code violations, they're the ones that have that list of the property, the gas station, the owner, the issues with the property, the all the things used, because the current owner doesn't have the money to fix up the issue. Okay, there was a gas leak, there was a fire, there was something causing a fence to be around that property so that nobody can go in there. And so now what are they going to do? Who's going to want to buy that? The investors who look at a list online can say, listen, I want to buy this. It's in the great area. But the gas station is what's decreasing the value of the neighborhood because of that gas station. Okay. And then there's industrial property that are bordered and vacant for whatever, for industrial reasons. Okay. Vacant land that has code violations. Vacant land. Okay. There may be some issue regarding the land itself. And so investors who want to buy vacant land, but know that they have to put at least $10,000 to repair the code violation on that property. Um, it's going to be need a lot of work, but they have the list of properties that are vacant lands that are available, and the issues with the land and the owner. We got to find out what the owner is. Who is the owner? They want to sell it, but nobody wants to buy that property, buy that vacant land because they want to buy land to build. They don't want to buy land to repair and fix up all the issues on the land by itself. So to recap, it's vacant land, it's commercial, it's industrial, it's commercial 5 or more units, and it's residential 1 to 4 units. Okay, and they're all over the country, but you have to have somebody develop that list and find out who the owner is and find out what the code violations are and make it easier for investors to look at that list, develop a plan, and buy it if they are investors. If they're small investors or they're big investors, if they're an investor company, they can go out and look at that property, say, listen, I love this area, but I got no problem putting in $100,000 to make this gas station um, back to code so that we can use it. And then I'm making money on the gas station because I own it. So that applies to every uh, piece of property in the country. With those with disabilities that want to become realtors, okay, they're afraid because they can't. Okay. For me, it took me 4 times to pass my real estate license. And someone else paid for that. I didn't have the money. Okay. But they saw potential in me. So if you're disabled and you want to become a realtor, but you're afraid people are going to laugh at you, people are going to. I got to my office using paratransit services or having someone pick me up because I can't drive a car. So if you are disabled and you want to do commission based and you want to follow the rules, you need somebody that's experienced in law, more or less, and a realtor. So if you're disabled and you have an attorney who's also a broker, okay, that's the most ideal. They can help you in law aspect of your real estate career and make it to not list and sell properties in general, but list and sell code violations, which requires a website with the information and to have the investor look at that website and more or less. And again, these properties have mold, asbestos, lead-based paint. Okay. And again, when you have a house full of mold, that is a lot of money to remove that mold and make that house livable again. Okay. So think about as an investor, as a realtor, that you're working with mold, asbestos, lead-based paint, and other issues that you have to repair and make livable to today's standards because we don't use lead-based paint anymore. We don't use, well, we don't use asbestos. And mold is something we don't want to be around. So that's a major issue. You have other properties that don't have that. They're just not up to code. And you don't need to be experienced in investing. All you need to be is experienced in listing for a website, okay? But you have that website available for others to uh, look at and buy. They're paying for the website, and they're paying for the website. So therefore, you're getting paid on the website, and they're looking at the list, and they have their team, but you have to have somebody who is behind you in the mold aspect, the asbestos aspect, the lead-based paint aspect, and other aspects. So you know what to tell the investor when they have that issue. So if John Doe sees a house they want to buy and it has asbestos, okay, you as a realtor have to have somebody behind your team that says, listen, I have somebody who wants to buy this house but has asbestos. Can you help them? And he says, yeah, I can. So therefore, you just connected two people because you didn't go to college for fixing up or asbestos or mold or lead-based paint, but you connected two people, the investor and you connected the person who is experienced in that issue with the property. Okay. Um, the average and the average investor does not know about mold, asbestos, and lead-based paint. They're looking to fix up and resell, not remove and rebuild or it's just fix up and resell. If you are disabled and you want to become successful, you can come to me in the aspect of real estate, and I can advise you on becoming successful in that field, knowing that you can get up SSI if you do it correctly. Business plan, so on and so forth. You can contact me on LinkedIn. Okay, well, you can contact me on my email address, which is zylomarshall@gmail.com. So ZYLOMARSHALL@gmail.com. So it's the same as my website. You email me and we can devise a plan to help you become successful above and beyond what your situation is right now.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.